Hey, this is Matthew, and welcome back to Nerd News Today, and it's time, once again, for another wrestling figure review. This time around, we've got a wave that's been a little bit elusive, at least in my area, and that is the Target-exclusive Wrestlemania series from Mattel's WWE Elite line. The extra awesome thing about this series of figures is that if you collect all four of them in this line, you can build Paul Ellering and his Rocco puppet, which is better left undiscussed, but the Paul Ellering, hey, that's pretty cool. Now, this version of Shawn Michaels represents his match from Wrestlemania 9 against Tatanka, which I believe was Shawn's first time ever defending a championship belt at a WrestleMania event. The match itself is not necessarily the most memorable, and that WrestleMania is memorable for maybe not quite the right reasons, but it's a really great outfit, and it's one I've actually been waiting for a long time, so that's why I jumped on this figure. So let's take a quick look at the packaging, but before we do that, I gotta let you guys know, you should check out Big Bad Toy Store for all your pro wrestling toy needs. They carry WWE Ultimate Editions, they carry some Elites as well, they also carry Super 7's New Japan Pro Wrestling figures, and a bunch of other things related to pro wrestling and not. So go ahead and check out BBTS if you want to look at any wrestling figures or anything else that they have at their store. You can use our affiliate link in the description below to do that. As for the packaging, this is the same type of box you'll get for any Elite in this era right now, so pretty standard. It's got the nice die cut on the bottom there. It's got a large window display in the front, so you can see exactly what this HBK comes with, which is predominantly his entrance outfit. And that really cool Wrestlemania logo also, I really love that look. That's a really nice design. On one side, we've got a very large, blown-up, heavily photoshopped photo of Shawn Michaels from that outfit. And on the other side, we have a more natural photo of him wearing that outfit. And that same image is seen on the back as well. Now, keep in mind, this is WrestleMania 9, and this was an outdoor arena. Shawn's match was pretty early in the card, so it would have been really bright and really sunny outside when this photo was taken. So they did a lot of work to get rid of that background, or chances are this photo was taken at a house show or a different event immediately after WrestleMania 9, so they can get this dark look. What's the actual case with it? I don't have a direct answer. If you guys know for sure, let me know, but that's my theory on it. Right next to that photo on the back, we got some stats about Shawn, which includes his height and weight and hometown, a few career highlights, of course not everything that's in there. It's far from everything, in fact, because it's missing a whole lot of stuff. And a one-sentence bio about him that explains exactly when this comes from, which is, as we mentioned, WrestleMania 9. Directly below all that information, we also got to look at everybody else that's in this line, which includes Goldberg, Edge, and Chyna, along with that completed Paul Ellering figure. Now, this is going to be the only figure I actually look at in this wave because the Goldberg is kind of nice, but I don't really need it. The only reason I would get it is for that championship belt, and I don't want that championship belt. The Edge is probably the worst Edge I've seen. It's just completely uninteresting to me in any way whatsoever. I don't like anything about it. And the Chyna, while it's a pretty good figure, actually, it seems to be a peg warmer right now, and I'm actually waiting for that to drop in price because there's been so many Targets around the country. They're going to probably clearance that eventually, which is unfortunate because it is a good Chyna figure. It's just like one of the least interesting looks for Chyna to ever have in the ring. So that's enough about the packaging. Let's go ahead and get the Shawn Michaels out of the box and into the ring and get a closer look at him from all angles. And here is our HBK now out of the box and in the ring. And this is such a great looking Shawn Michaels. I don't own a lot of Shawn Michaels figures because I'm not exactly like the biggest Shawn Michaels fanboy. Not to say I dislike him, but there's other wrestlers who I like a lot more than him. But I grew up in that era when he was wearing crazy outfits like this, so I am a little bit partial to this look. And I think the only other Shawn Michaels I own right now from this era would be him from that Amazon exclusive line that had him in the red outfit with the Heartbreak Hotel. That version I like a lot. This is one I've been waiting for quite some time because I've always liked this look. Even though that WrestleMania 9 match was, whatever. I've always loved this look, and this outfit is just so unique to him. So I'm very excited to add this one to my collection, and I don't see myself getting too many other HBKs out there. The outfit's got to really wow me, and like I said, haven't seen a lot that do that. This one absolutely does. And I want to get this out of the way, by the way, real quick. This is the Build-A-Figure piece that he comes with, and I don't know what it is about me and Build-A-Figure pieces from Mattel, but I swear, I always get the legs. I have so many legs with nothing else attached to them. I have a platoon. I have a practical army of legs with nothing else attached to them. Just torso-less legs wandering around the wastelands like this. It is terrible. I don't know why I keep getting them like this. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them because I don't need any more. I'm not buying the rest of this line. So yeah, here is the accessories. It's the Paul Ellering lower body. It's got really great articulation because I got to tell you guys too, the nice thing about the bodies that are wearing the suits, they have always had amazing articulation. Look at this. This is stupid how good this is. This is like Ultimate Edition level of articulation. This is so great. And yeah, it's unfortunate I have nothing to attach it to because yeah, I'm just going to fling him out of the ring. So let's take a close look at our Shawn Michaels now, and we're doing this review a little bit backwards because he's already in his entrance gear. And normally we talk about likeness first. We're going to still do that, but we do got to point out that, yeah, he's still wearing this entrance gear because that's how he's packaged. But yeah, let us discuss that likeness first, and again, we've got to go into the accessories because he's wearing his sunglasses as part of that look, and that is on purpose because that's how it was. And you might notice that these glasses are kind of low on his face. That's because that's how they were when he entered the ring. I mean, he had them up, but for the most part, they were down, and they're meant to be down. They're meant to kind of be in this position. And I said that too because they don't really slide any further in his hair, because that's how they go on. They attach through little slits in his hair. That is as far as they go. Now, they are a little uneven. That is probably not intentional, but I can't do much about that. It's just kind of the way it is. But the glasses are very nice. And the Shawn Michaels face, again, too, is also really nice. And I think this is kind of a unique Shawn head here as well, because he has the earrings, which are from this outfit, too. You can see the earrings right there. So that kind of makes this more unique. And he has that feathered early 90s hair, which is so great for that Shawn Michaels, too. But as far as the look goes, as far as the appearance of the Shawn, I think it's really spot on. A great likeness of him. It looks just like young Shawn Michaels should look. I don't know if they took a pre-existing mold of him and just de-aged it in some ways. I don't really know what they did to it, but it looks great. It looks exactly like he did on screen. So no problems there whatsoever. I already mentioned the earrings, how much I like those too. Another thing I really like about the Shawn is the hair. And I want to show you guys the back of the hair too. You can see it's got like the blonde highlights towards the bottom of it. That's a really nice little touch too. Something that I think, a lot of people might not even really remember from the match, but that's how his hair was, and it looks really nice. So let's now talk about some of this entrance outfit he has on here though, because again, this is another one of those things that I'm just like really wowed by, and it is this mirrored jacket he wore that had the front open, with all the crosses hanging from it, very Madonna-esque in a lot of ways. It's a very nice looking piece of gear here. It's really cool. Again, just such a one-of-a-kind thing that only Shawn Michaels would wear, and I don't think anybody else would try to want to wear it either. So how does it attach? Well, there's this little clasp here on the front, which I'm going to now go ahead and unpull. There we go. And now let's see how this comes off, because that's where I am most worried about, is how do we get this thing off here? Now, I'm noticing what I thought would have been sleeves or something. I was hoping these would have came off, because we looked at, I think it was the Io Shirai figure that had something like this, where they popped out. But it looks like that's not the case here. It looks like it's solid. So it's just solid rubber. We're going to try and just peel him out of this thing and hope for the best. And I'm going to actually pull out his hands first, just because I've noticed that tends to make it a little bit easier. It tends to make a difference when you're trying to get him out, since there's no hands to get stuck on. Yeah, I feel like it's already making some difference, in fact. So when you do try to get him out of this outfit, do what I did, take his hands off. They come out for a reason, and that's not exactly the reason to do it, but it works. So there we go, our Shawn's out. And you know what, since I've actually got his hands out there like this too, let's just finish off our accessory talk, because Shawn comes with another pair of hands. So we have 4 hands total. One is a pair of closed fists, the other is a pair of open hands. And I'm going to put the open hands in right now just to show you how those go in, which is nice and easy. And that's always a plus, because you never want to battle with a hand when it comes to wrestling toys. So for those keeping track of the accessories, it is his entrance jacket, his sunglasses, an additional pair of hands, and Paul Ellering's disembodied legs. And by the way, we should know that there's one very important accessory missing from Shawn Michaels here, and that would be his Intercontinental Championship. And I think in this match he had the white strap, I want to say. I don't think it was the blue, but I'm pretty sure it was the white strap he had at this point. So that would have been cool to have included as well as an accessory. Really, it would have been like make this even better figure. That would have made this like a perfect 10, whereas right now it's like close to an 8. But, you know, I guess considering we're getting this pretty unique piece here, which has got a lot of crazy unique molding on it, I can kind of understand that it's missing, but that's just some kind of wishful thinking there. So as for the rest of the figure here, let's just see what else is accurate, what is inaccurate. And, I always love this cow design. I don't know what else to call it. I just call it the cow pants Shawn Michaels. But I've always liked that look, just the black and white and the little gray zigzags in there too. I think it's a great outfit, great. I was going to say colorful design, but it's not colorful. It's the opposite of colorful, but it is very stunning. It's a very striking design. And I always liked Shawn Michaels boots from this era, and they got those looking really nice as well. It's got the kick pads on there too. Nice job on the paint detail for his furry chest. I think that's pretty good, actually. Normally that's something I would complain about, but I think they got it actually looking really nice here, and not really too overdone, not underdone either. I think it's just right for chest hair, and the color that they used, it makes it kind of have that look of transparency, even though it's not. That is a solid color, but it kind of just blends in a little bit, so it makes it look like it's a little bit more blondish, if you will. So that works for me. I think that's a great way that they did the hair. And we also have the tattoo on his arm there, which is accurate and very bright, very nicely done there. And plus, we already know that he's got the gloves with the wraps on, so that looks all good across the board. So I think, the outfit is pretty much nailed it. I think they got it 100%. I have nothing to complain about or nitpick about. If anybody else out there knows anything I'm missing, let me know. But I think for my money, it's a pretty good looking figure that really harkens back to that WrestleMania match. And speaking of, let's do some figure comparisons now. And I had to bring in my Tatanka. This Tatanka was an Elite from a few years ago. And man, I've been waiting for the day to get these two guys in the ring with the proper outfits, because I think that WrestleMania 9 outfit is also what Tatanka is wearing here. So there you go. That's what these two figures are going to look like side by side. And you can finally now relive that match officially. Let's compare our HBK to a few other figures. How about we bring in our Johnny Gargano figure from Amazon's recent fan takeover wave. That's how Johnny Gargano looks. Let's also bring in an Elite Roman Reigns. And just because I happen to have him here too, Let's compare him to an Ultimate Edition figure. Here is the Ultimate Edition Rock figure. He's having a little trouble standing because his ankle seems to be a little warped lately, but that's how he looks. And if you're wondering, yeah, I actually did pass on the Ultimate Edition Shawn Michaels figure because I didn't like the head. But I know they're going to make more Shawn Michaels, and it sounds like they are planning to do that this year. So chances are I will pick up whatever Ultimate Edition they make of him for the Ultimate line that comes out in 2021. Let's put in a few AEW figures also. I've got here Kenny Omega from Jazzwares. This is from the AEW Series 4, I believe this was from. And I've also got a Pac figure here. He's a little bit smaller, so that's so you can see. He's not Darby Allin small, but he's a little bit smaller than Kenny, a lot of the more muscly guys. And last but not least, I'm going to bring in a Super 7 New Japan Pro Wrestling figure too, because man, there are so many pro wrestling figures coming out this year in 2021. So many different companies have done something, so I wanted to put everybody here just to give you a good example of how everybody stands up. So there you go. We got some Jazzwares, we got some Mattel, and we got some Super 7. All together, that's how they look, and it's so great seeing them all side by side because there's so many options this year for collectors, and thankfully they all more or less match up. They're all close enough to being in the same scale. Now, last thing here, since we did everything out of order, I'm going to include this part here. Let's talk about articulation real quickly. So you guys can see, head rotates left and right, shoulders are ball jointed, get some good range of motion there. Bicep can swivel, single elbow joint, right there you can see it. The wrists can bend and flex. Our torso on our Shawn can go back and forward, mostly forward, not so much back. He can turn his waist. We also have some very good articulation in the legs here. You can see he can do a nice split. We have some thigh articulation there as well, which is always handy. We've got our knee joint, which is not hindered really that much by the knee pads, which is always good. The boot cut can move, and the ankle can also get some nice rotation, which is really good. So in terms of articulation, this figure is pretty great for that. And that's always a plus for me. I always like my figures to be nice and super articulated, as well as very balanced when possible. And as you can see, this Shawn Michaels has had no problem standing up straight. So hooray for good posture. So final thoughts about this HBK. I think it's a great one to get, and I think it's going to be another one of those really rare HBKs as well. Because there haven't been a ton of retro-style Shawn Michaels figures out there from this era in particular. And I think for a lot of collectors these days, that's kind of the era a lot of us remember him from in terms of nostalgia. Like, we'll remember him for his great matches that he had a few years after this period. But growing up, this was kind of our first look at Shawn, and I think it's very nostalgic for a lot of people. I think more importantly, it's also just a really fun period for him because he had a lot of zany costumes that, again, only he could ever pull off. And that's why I really like it, because the entrance gear is just so unique and so awesome looking. But even beyond the entrance gear, it's still a great looking Shawn Michaels. It's a very iconic look, a very different look also. And one that I think really adds a lot to a retro style collection. You know, if you're collecting guys from that early 90s era, this really stands out, really pops nicely on a shelf because of the colors, because of the head sculpt, because of the accessories and the outfit. Just a great figure all around. And I gotta add on that too, you know, this was a Target exclusive. You can now find him from places like Amazon, I believe, but a little bit more money. And, you know, kind of basing it on the fact of what I saw with the Amazon version of Shawn that came out a few years ago with the red outfit. That one's going for big money these days. I would not be surprised to see this one going for big money either. And to me, this is the standout of that Wrestlemania series. He's been, I think, the hardest one to get. And if you find him, I recommend you do not hesitate. Pick him up on the spot. So we're going to have some links in the description for places that you can hopefully find him, which will include Amazon. And of course, got to mention again, Big Bad Toy Store. You always got to check them out. But I'm giving this figure 2 thumbs up, or maybe 2 super kicks up. I don't really know, whatever I'm going to rank him as. But yeah, definitely worth getting. I think this is an absolutely wonderful Shawn Michaels to have to your collection, and one that's going to be pretty prominent in my display. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today, and we'll see you guys later for some more wrestling figure reviews.